presently in session. Can I get a, excuse me, we're presently in session. Can we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Relax. First act of business would be to get our agenda in order. Does anybody have any items they would like pulled? Yes, no?
No.
Okay, then can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as shown?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That brings us to our donations, acceptance of donations. Today there are 4 of them. We have a donation of from the HHCEF, the amount of $5,090. Another donation to the Barbara Katzenstein Scholarship Fund. Again, that is for summer camp for handicapped children. Modell's a donation of $121.89, and that is from the high school team week. And a donation target for $96 to the Furnace Woods Elementary School, or from the elementary school. I would like to thank all these people for making the effort to, bring the cards to Target and Modell's and doing that, and certainly the HHCEF for their continued support. They make things possible. They, like the PTAs, it's a group of people who really works very hard and does a lot for our school district. So thank you. Can I get a motion to approve these 4 donations?
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nice going.
Can I make a comment? Mary Pat,
Yes.
in line with the donations, I was in the guidance office today, and the secretarial staff has a lottery going on, $1 a ticket, 6 for 5, and it goes to benefit the $500 senior scholarship in the spring. So if you're by the secretarial offices, they would like you to contribute for a
Very
donation.
nice.
Nice, very nice. They do, again, like the PTA and the parents, it's a lot of support from our district, from pretty much everybody. Helps our kids,
Yes.
so it's a wonderful thing. That brings us to audience comments. Okay, and now our superintendent's report.
Yes, we are wrapping up our communication plan for our capital project. The board has in front of it the 8-page special edition of Soundings. This was printed recently and is in the mail and will hopefully arrive in mailboxes this weekend. It outlines the specifics of the project, articulated on the first page the 3 main areas in which we're looking to invest, some financial information, and on page 4 we identify the potential tax increase should the project pass for the town of Cortland, city of Peekskill. We have Q&A on page 5. A lot of information about what we're trying to achieve with this $6.2 million project. Our website is updated quite regularly with different presentations and information from our community presentations. Enrique and I have done many presentations to groups after school and during the evenings. We've had maybe a total of 15 to 25 community members show up at the various events, and we have 2 more scheduled. On Monday, December 2nd at 6 p.m. at Buchanan Verplank Elementary School. And on Friday, December 6th, we're doing a breakfast meeting, coffee and donuts at the district office at 9 a.m. So more reminders will go out on the website and by way of email early next week. We continue to meet and send teams of folks to meet with our seniors. Buchanan seniors last week. I'll be visiting with the Verplank seniors on December 5th. And I think we're going to try to do 1 more meeting with the Buchanan seniors before the 10th. So it's been somewhat quiet. Some of the questions have been more about detail specifics of the technology piece of the project, but I think Matthew did a great job. Enrique and his team, Anthony Merlini, did an outstanding job putting these pieces together to really make it clear, concise, very transparent for the public. And those are words that I have heard about the project, and those are good descriptors any Board of Education wants to have before you go into a capital vote. So I think that's good news. And I'll leave my report at that.
Also, Soundings, while very informative, also has like fun stuff too, and it's what our kids are doing. From the band concerts to the after-school academies to our National Merit students. That's my favorite part, all that stuff.
Yep.
And I'd also like to thank Enrique for coming down to the Verplank seniors and answering some of their questions. He was very, very quick
Well
to get
received.
down there and help answer some of their concerns and their questions. So thank you, Enrique.
I'd actually like to thank Barbara. She's made a special point of going to the senior citizens this year, and that's an important outreach. I mean, she spent several visits, and, you know, it's in the middle of the day, but it's a good group of people to talk to, but it's an important thing to do, but it's taking time, so appreciate it.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. That would bring us to our first committee reports. I apologize. I know this week we did have finance, where we started our preliminary work on the budget. Our main focus, obviously we've been discussing the budget, but we've also been discussing our options with the, not options, but the what our expectations are with the bond. I'm sorry, just offhand, any other committees this week?
No.
I went to HHCEF for the budget report, and they were very interested in it. For the capital vote. Darn, there's something I just wanted.
Well, there are PTA meetings as well, where
PTA
these
meetings.
presentations that have taken place. Is that it? Okay. That would bring us to another audience comments, but I'm assuming you're pretty settled. So, that would bring us to our presentation and discussion. Our first would be the review of the budget calendar.
On the budget calendar, really, we made one change that the board asked, so we'll have the comments.
Do what?
The comments from the board and the
Discussion before.
Yes.
the discussion a week
Yes.
Do you
before.
want this, Enrique, and this will, you want just, it's the,
Yeah.
Second page.
there you go. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Is that what you want, or you want
so that
further?
there's enough time to get comments. So that there's enough time to get comments and make a change in the
Yeah,
budget.
he's just going to tell us what the difference was.
The final request from Board of Education was moved from April 9 to March 26. Like that, any final request will be ready for April 9th for the board to approve the budget on April 9th. The rest stays the same.
Very good.
I think it's fair just so that we can get as much, as much public input as possible. And so that if there is something that that we did overlook, or not overlook, but something that should be tweaked or something, that there's time to do that.
Yes.
Where is athletics?
Athletics is the week before.
Okay. Technology, right, okay,
February 12th.
okay.
Okay? Do we need to approve this, Roseanne? Or are we just fine?
It was
I just
already
didn't know, we
approved.
don't need to, okay. All right, so that would bring us to, that was quick. Our next topic this evening would be our board goals, which I think in all fairness, we should point out that we are 5 or 6 months into the school year. And our focus at this point is just, we have already done a significant amount, but I think maybe just focus on, just for the next 6 months, and then I think we should really give it, make this a main topic in our summer retreat for 14, 15. I keep forgetting I have this little clicky. The first, as you can see, it used to be, we changed from the academic goals, we actually changed the header to methodology or belief statement, just to maybe make it a little bit more indicative of what these points really are, as opposed to goals. It's sort of our approach to achieving what we hope to within the district. Obviously the red is changes. I know everybody, there was the original is not here. I'm sure it's here, but I don't see the benefit.
No,
But these changes do show the difference. So what we have is, again, these changes have been made. If there's anything that anybody would like to add or suggest in our academic.
Yeah, I just wanted to discuss, you want to start? Or
No, go ahead.
Okay, I wanted to start with goal, I think 2 is important. Maintain a rigorous and challenging curriculum with high standards that leads to higher academic achievement. And I know we had talked about, Charles had brought up having a goal on grade level. We thought that was too ambitious. But this goal seems to me to be too underwhelming. I think we have to aim higher than the developmentally appropriate level, because that could be construed as very low possibly, and I think we need to make sure there's progress. So we could either, we could either just take out the whole last phrase, after
To
student
ensure that?
achievement,
Okay.
or we could say aim for grade level, or if not feasible, then, able to, which makes it very long. Because I
I
think we
thought
want to
that-
aim higher,
I thought that second part of the phrase seemed more like an academic goal, that every student will be able to read, write, and do math at his or own level, rather than a belief statement or a methodology.
Right,
It
right.
just seemed like it was 2
Okay.
parts, and maybe that should be either taken out or moved down to the other section.
Would that be more,
I don't think,
still not rigorous
I'd be
enough?
fine with taking that out.
yeah, I think we should take, it just is so vague.
Okay.
That's the problem I have with it. Either, does anybody else, Charles, you came up with the idea for grade levels.
We need to have something in that talks about getting kids to the appropriate place, and it needs to be a goal, I think. I appreciated what Barbara did with this. I think this gets us somewhere that we didn't have before.
I mean, you see cases where students reading on kindergarten level is in 7th grade, and you say, but that's the developmentally appropriate level, which may be.
But that may
It may
be
be,
all
but-
that they're capable of doing. And, if you're going to say that every child will read, write, and do math at, a certain level, I think you're being, number one, unrealistic, and I think you're being very insensitive to some of the students and some of the teachers that have to get them to that point.
Right.
That, I mean, reality is, we talk about having every child make at least a year's progress.
Right.
Okay, so I think people are very aware of that. If you'd like to put something like that in, I wouldn't have any problem with it. But I think to say that every child will be reading on grade level, even by,
Within 4 years. Mine
within
was
4
within 4
years,
years.
I think you're being so unrealistic, and
Yeah.
I think, it's not fair to the students.
No, I do appreciate that, I agree, but I just think this without, I understand how this evolved, but I just think, as this reads now, it's just, it just doesn't give us enough. of
But I
measure.
think in our strategic plan, Dr. Gottlieb, what does it say 1 year's progress?
No, it says, I can look it up exactly, but it's that each child will make progress to meet or exceed state and local standards. And state and local standards might be okay, because a local standard for a child who's significantly below will be, growth.
Okay.
I mean, if we had the word progress in there somehow, that would,
See, I think the part, when we say it's developmentally appropriate, that stimulates a whole conversation with teachers and administration about what is developmentally appropriate for each kid, and how do you get to that point? And that stimulates a whole discussion in there rather than just aiming at, that's the whole conversation that people are having now about the state standards. Are they accurate? Are they right? You know, are they too ambitious? And so if we set our own standards within the district and aim for them, are we doing the right thing for kids? What's the right thing?
I've just seen it used in an apologistic way, you know.
Well, see,
that's
as you were talking about it, I was thinking about, it. That's the whole issue. Do you trust your staff and your administration to set appropriate and rigorous enough standards for the kids? Or do you think that it's a way to get by, you know, to not help kids? To let kids slide by, you know, year after year? So
I
that-
just think we
do
need a
have
measurable goal. I don't think we're making a judgment here.
So what are you asking, Marion? What would,
I don't
no,
know.
just, and,
Read, write, and do math to the best of his or her ability.
well, that's saying
better.
developmentally appropriate. I mean, that's sort of the same.
Yeah.
That's
At
what we had
his or her
talked about
own,
when we
it's the
were,
same.
you know, working on this together.
Well, they're not gonna do it better than their ability.
Marion, what would make you more
Um,
comfortable?
I think either leads to higher student achievement.
You could just stop right there, even.
I think Carol's point that the red part should really be a goal. We should
Mhm.
move it to the
All right,
academic goals.
so we'll take
Should
that
go down
out,
to
and we'll move
academic
that down to a goal. And is ensured that every student will be able to read, and is that
And how
sufficient?
about if we
Read, write,
make
and do
reasonable
math at his or her
progress,
own
or that way?
To development appropriate level and make reasonable progress, and move that down as an additional goal,
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay?
Well,
Yep.
That leads to continuous growth.
that's fine. Yeah, okay, well, that leads to, and make progress, or, you know, that leads
Well,
to
Marion,
con-
if you would please
personal.
just think about what you want and send it to me, that would be great,
Okay.
and I'll make the changes.
Thank you.
Um,
It's good.
So we'll move that down to a goal, the red.
And then
Um,
we've,
Okay with that, Bill?
have we
Oh,
achieved three?
yeah,
or
I
we-
just,
we
you know,
failed
to say that within 4
I'm
years,
sorry, Marion, what?
every
Oh.
child will be reading on grade level, that I couldn't agree with that. You know, I would really have a problem with that. But if, you know, in this way, I definitely, that's fine.
Marion, did you have any?
Oh, we're deleting 3 and 5, was there,
Well, because the,
I'm gonna bring 5 up again.
improve
and
the
get to
graduation
goals.
rate, actually technically would be improved. My feeling was that that was a goal. That came down, and essentially, I thought it might be redundant with improving the college and career readiness of our students.
I think we need to put graduation rate within college and career readiness, you know.
All right,
just
so
put-
work that in somehow.
okay.
Well, I would
If you'd
say,
want to change, if you want to send me something, we can work with that.
I'd just say improve the college and career ready graduation rate of our students.
And, all right, college careers and graduation rate, okay.
And, yeah,
Okay.
right?
I think the good standing, thankfully, that's, you know, history. So then, are you satisfied?
No.
Okay.
I'm not saying
No,
it.
that's fine.
I
What is
thought
your-
number 4, developing community recognition of our rigorous and challenging academics, et
Oh,
cetera,
wait,
et
wait,
cetera,
where are we?
was more of a governance goal. And you had said that it's redundant, and I agree it's redundant, but I think that's more a governance goal than an academic goal. So I personally would put that under the governance goal.
So you want to consider number 4 and put that as a governance
We'll
goal?
put that as a governance goal. Which it was in governance under number 4 and
Just got
crossed
moved
out
around.
and got, because we had it twice. We had it under academic and under governance,
You're
and we
right.
crossed it
Okay.
off the governance, put it under academic. I
Okay.
believe.
I agree.
And I
Alright.
have one more thing. I wasn't that thrilled that we took out provide a wide range of enrichment and other opportunities.
Well, if this is all this is all up for discussion.
So what I suggest we add,
Do
rather
you-
than that,
Well, my only thought is, does that feel like it's, again, redundant for the rigorous and challenging curriculum?
well, I think it brings in that we're not just, where was it? The rigorous and challenging curriculum specifically talks about being able to read, write, and do math. And the other statement talks about other parts of education as well.
So do you want to include the provide a wide range of enrichment in with the maintain a rigorous, and work that together into a,
Actually, I would
sim-
like to propose a completely different statement.
what,
Oh,
I would like to propose we put in as number 4, which is now gone, to provide a well-rounded academic environment that includes opportunities in the arts and athletics.
mhm.
can you send me that?
I
And
can
will-
send you that,
okay.
yes.
Actually, while we're talking about that well-rounded,
It's on here.
in the goal about the ensuring every student, I originally wanted to say read, write, do math, and play.
Now, what play is out? We can't put
I
play.
don't think you can put play, Charles.
Maybe the most important thing we do.
Do what?
That's maybe the most important thing we do.
But they don't, that's what they do after school.
Well, no, they should do it.
They
in
do,
the
but I
same
don't
time.
feel, I think if the teachers looked at that, they would just be like, when would you like us to work that into our day? I just think that that would be,
And learning how to
poorly
play,
received.
learning how to play in PE and recess and at the lunchroom and in the classroom is so important. I mean, that's one of the social skills that you develop through play. I don't know how you feel about it, Joe.
Well, my definition of play is what I've come to understand what we're doing in kindergarten, in terms of a kindergarten curriculum and the focus there that I know Alice could.
If we're talking developmentally appropriate practice, the work of children is play. And there should be opportunity for joyful learning, which could be considered play, all the way through, which could be considered what we do when we're loving what we're doing in a chemistry class. That there's the joy of playing with numbers and playing with words. Let's not diminish it.
And my input or position on this document was, because I know a lot of this were guts that were vetted, before I came, was to really look at the first slide is what do we believe about our instructional program or our finances or governance, and then use the next slide in terms of how do we measure that belief statement. And what I keep going back to is what measures are out there to determine if we got there. And we can measure a lot of these things. I think we would have to, conversation with Allison and myself and some staff. How do you measure play? What is the measure? Is it survey? Is it what's that assessment? So we know if we got there or what we have to do to get there. That's I go back to the SMART goal piece
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
And I think, Charles, it wouldn't be the right place to put it here. I think it would be confusing to say read, write, do math, and play, and when you have it as an academic goal. But I agree, there should be a goal maybe on, provide an environment where students feel safe and can engage in appropriate social,
Well,
play,
actually, that's a good point. To be safe
Yeah,
in school is a good goal. And
Yeah.
for kids to feel safe and supported.
so safe and supported, and I don't want to put the playing, but maybe that's a better way to, I remember when Joan Thompson was superintendent, she used to say it's hearts and minds, and that was her. I thought it was simplistic at that point, but there's a truth there. You don't want to just do the academics, you want to give the support in this as well. So I do think, there's room for it there, so maybe we can email Mary Pat.
Absolutely.
I think that's a huge piece. I
This is-
think
Yeah, it's
yes.
huge.
if
It's
students
huge.
do feel safe, they feel secure,
I can
then
tell
they
you.
have
Here's
that
some more.
joy in
Yeah.
coming to school every day.
Yeah, exactly.
You
No,
know,
it's-
so I
it's-
think it is important.
Yeah,
to
it's very
say something
important.
along
And
those
even for our
lines.
most challenging students who come to school already,
Stressed, yeah.
Charles, you could have your best students that come to school feeling that way too, because they're so anxious about performing, up to
Every
the
child
highest
is that.
degree.
Every
Yes,
child.
so that's-
Every child could feel
So
that
this is,
way,
I think
which
it's
is,
important
I think,
to
strong.
realize that as,
I agree
this,
with you.
the goals in this document is a work in progress. This'll, if, again, I'm taking, if you guys just send me we have this conversation, send me your thoughts, and we can incorporate that in for the next review. But if we can just, did you have more for the academic, or is there additional, or should we move on to the fiscal piece?
I think we should try and keep
Okay.
it as simple as possible for right now.
Okay. Fiscal is, this is the first steps, maintain a fiscal system that runs through, there's actually very little that changed. It was, took out present the community with a long-range plan to address infrastructure needs. I think that's critical, but my feeling is that that's something that, for long-range to actually get a game plan, I know that I know it's in process, and this is a big thing that Carson's pushed at, and I completely agree. I think it's absolutely going to be part of our 14, 15 goals. I think right now it's getting, we can start now, but I think to actually complete it and have it in place is part of our 6 months. The number 4, to present the community long-range plan to address infrastructure needs.
Okay, yeah.
We're not gonna
That's
be able to
absolutely-
present it by the end of the year.
Correct,
No, no.
so that's what I'm
But we
saying.
need to
Over the
start.
summer.
But we need to.
No, I
address it.
absolutely,
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
why I said including the 14, 15 goals.
Yep.
So I just wanted to make sure that there was an understanding that that wasn't disregarded, it's just sort of,
Similar to what we do with technology.
Right.
absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely.
I have to commend whoever wrote number 3 for the alliteration.
I didn't write that, that was there. I actually looked at that and thought, we gotta change that. Too many E's. So, and then, again, to continually support and assess existing programs.
Should we
to
also
real-
explore something that Joe's brought up and that we've talked about, developing, engaging the alumni to come back into the district, financially? Put that somewhere in there that we build that into part of our fiscal goal.
Do you want to, fiscal?
Would it-
Um,
Would it
It's
be a
going to
governance
have an
governance
impact
or
on the
academic?
fiscal. But
Well,
it's
I think,
also
that well,
an
yes,
Just
yes
so
and
we
no.
know.
It actually, number 4, if you look in our academic develop, community recognition, rigorous challenge, I think we can tie it in the,
Right.
we can tie that in with our governance goals, just move that down and reference perhaps some sort of alumni involvement, you know, or other groups, not just alumni, but, you know, all the stakeholders and all the other, you know,
Now,
the,
like Friday night, they had the blue and white scrimmage, the first annual, and Jenks was there. Andrew Jenks was there, and he announced it, he did the MC, and he did all that, so it was nice to come back, everybody was taking pictures with him. and the whole, you know,
Absolutely.
It was all good, but also from the financial standpoint, there are alumni that they're doing very well, that may be able to help with some of our programs.
well, even their skills. I mean, somebody like Andrew Jenks to come back and, you know, contribute to, not necessarily financially, but just his wealth of experience and what he's accomplished to our,
So-
you know, our English and our
He comes to
Other
the film
program.
thing, he came last spring.
Right.
yep.
Actually, but while we're there on that alumni, I got an announcement from one of my alumni associations. Everybody's heard of Black Friday, Tech Monday, and now there's something called Giving Tuesdays. It's the Tuesday after Tech Monday. And organizations are using it as a day to give, to donate for causes. And so I'll forward it to you so you can read it, but it's an interesting idea. So that, you know, it's right there on your mind. It's during the holiday season, donate to this group or this group.
Good. That's,
Shopping
it's important to remember those that aren't as fortunate as we are, that's for sure.
That's America.
If the fiscal goals,
That's fine.
fiscally responsible and transparent budget, basically we moved the affirmative budget vote from governance goals, just because they did tie in with this. Complete an audit process, which we are in the process of looking at. And ensuring that all building and grounds will be safe, clean, academically effective, and aesthetically pleasing was also on there.
Can we
So-
change the last 2 words to look good?
No, I like it the way.
Yeah, I that
It kinda
definitely,
goes with the
and we can put put the grammar in our academics, how's that?
I mean, and instead of academically, say instructionally effective, is there a better way to say that, Barbara?
Like instructionally effective is good.
Okay,
And can we put negotiate contracts back in?
we don't have any this year.
We
This
will.
is,
Let's
these
leave
are our
it.
goals for the next 6
No,
months.
but this is, we're gonna redo this over the summer.
These are our
in
goals for the
greater
next 6
detail.
months,
All
so.
right.
So, you know, it gives us time to really think
No,
about
but I
this
mean,
and
that part will go back
Actually, we are.
What about
in the appropriate year.
What about the negotiations that we're going into right now with Entergy?
That's-
Do we need
yeah.
to put that someplace?
Just keep it in there, let's see it porked in it.
I mean, without that, but we're starting the process of negotiating with Entergy, the pilot program, so.
That would obviously, fiscal goals to, I guess, to. Where do you foresee putting that in there? I mean,
That's a
would
good
that
idea.
be?
That's a really good idea.
Just leave it as it is, negotiate contract.
No, I think we have to
I think we
specify.
have to
to
specify
identify-
that it's
we
not
have to
like our
identify
unions, I think it's.
Negotiate a pilot, I mean,
Pilot, the
yeah,
pilot's huge.
negotiate.
So just negotiate pilot agreement that, all
Right, with Entergy.
right.
That's a big deal.
Somebody wants to
That's
give me an
very
idea
That's
of
what
how you
the
want,
market-
yeah,
we
because
do have
that's,
other
very good person.
Yes, you,
Oh, stop. You're never
Okay.
gonna let me forget this.
Okay,
Oh.
so, again, I would ask everybody to please,
he has
again,
hair on
as,
the bottom half of his head. I have it on the top half.
The two of you are so naughty.
There's no physical.
You're never.
as you guys
never
get
gonna let me
to,
live this
if you
down.
could please send me whatever changes and recommendations, that would be great.
I
That
know
brings
it.
us to our governance goals. I'm sorry, methodology and belief statement. Again, telling the, I took out the work on telling the district story because that was redundant to number 5 of academic goals, which we moved to our governance goals.
Right, so
I'm
we're
so
gonna move that back to the governance
It's getting
goals.
shifted around. It'll stay back here, it'll go
Just
back
move
here.
it all
But we'll
over.
just change, again, if you want to send
I'll
me
send
what
it to
the
you.
vernacular you want,
Could
that would
we
be
put
great.
something in there too about creating, strengthening the brand of the sailors,
Mm.
I mean, that's something we keep talking about, and we've talked about it in strategic planning. That may be part of governance, bringing the whole district together as one instead of 3 different.
Do you think perhaps that should go with the community recognition?
Yeah.
I thought that was the community
So I think that should
recognition
go, maybe we can work that into number 4 with the academic goals, where we actually reference, which is going to governance, where we work in the alumni and the other external resources as well. So I'll just footnote branding as well.
We
Okay.
also have to remember, it's good to put it there, we were advised in the summer that we had too many goals, so we need to kind of
We
pare
did cut it down. If you look,
Yeah,
it's
no,
pared
I'm
down
saying, but let's don't
significantly.
add more, too many
Yeah.
more.
I
So-
think we're gonna also cut it down even further.
So-
by the time we get together this summer.
Okay, so,
We have one goal.
that's right. Get
One
busy.
goal, it
Good.
will
We're
never,
good.
it will never happen.
Okay, so if you actually look, the governance goals, we will be adding the 4th back, or some form of that. And so we added in the protocols, which we worked on earlier. Again, that was just I think the 2 was a combination. We worked at 2, remaining active, effective, and accessible, and responding promptly. That is, those basically were the same. So it was just sort of brought the 2 of those together. Using technology, that's Matthew's constant battle. We'll add 4 back in. Does anybody have any other suggestions?
Can we keep 6 in there?
Thought about it.
Some days are better than others. Some days it stays and some days it goes.
Okay.
No, it's
Is there,
always
is there
staying.
another word besides effective that we can use in 2 so that it's alliterative, it starts with an A?
No.
No.
I'm thinking of an A word right about now. And so our governance goals, basically we've moved the affirmative budget vote to our fiscal goals, and our governance would be to improve perception of the Hen Head School District. And again, we can incorporate something about
Right, I think
the
the branding.
alumni and the external
Branding.
resources. And improve communication with our staff, which is always a goal, of course.
It may, should we also maybe improve communication with staff, and are there other stakeholders too we probably need to improve communication with? Maybe,
Community, maybe if you just put in community.
yeah.
With our staff,
With our staff, and, we talked about reaching out to, which we have been doing, to the,
Business partners.
well, you can
business
just
par-
say in general, all
Yeah,
stakeholders.
yeah, and,
Right.
If you want to put that, unless that's a little too vague.
maybe it's too big, I don't, staff, we talked about, people who work in the district, who,
Right, and
members who are-
community.
To our
Or
staff,
that's too-
staff,
Is that
community
too?
and other essential stakeholders.
we'll think about it,
Yeah,
but
we can think
it,
about
the
it.
rest of, other essential stakeholders.
They're all essential, but.
Again, Marion, if you could, I would ask anybody, if you have resources, have thoughts, to just send, and we can incorporate it in.
Send
I keep
resources.
using that word. So,
Actually, on the goal about communication, can we add improved effective communication with our staff? Because just improving it,
he wants that E word
E,
again.
E, E,
I just wanna make sure
He's
that
on a
it's-
roll
just
tonight.
improving it,
How about aesthetically
communication.
effective?
We can have nice conversations,
No, but he's
but we
right,
need to be
effective.
effective at it, we need to get our message
I
across.
think it's redundant, but,
Yeah.
yeah, I think, hopefully
Sure,
just
think it's
improve.
Aesthetically effective.
I think it is,
communication.
yeah, aesthetically. I think it's
Effective is
redundant,
implied.
because I'd like to think that
We hope.
that
If it's improved.
if it's improved, it is,
Okay,
the
Effective
communication
courteous.
itself is hopefully.
Doesn't
so.
have to be.
All right. So if everybody can please send me whatever their suggestions are, and we can hopefully put this, resolve this and look at it again on the 11th and come to some final document on that, or at least close. That brings us to new business. Anything? All right.
Actually-
How was
actually-
the meet and greet?
Yes, that was what I was trying to bring up during the committee reports.
Well, we actually, that does sort of bring in something. We did have the meet and greet the other day. We had company. We had people who, who did have some questions about the bond. They had some people who had some individual questions that that are being addressed as we speak. Joe was there, and Mr. Honkrider was there, and he will be dealing with that on an individual basis.
Good. So we had participation from the
We
community.
did, we had participation. It was Carol's first, and she said it was actually fun.
By the way, I could do the 14th.
Well,
Whether we're
well,
gonna
that was
go to
our
the
other
7th or
topic.
the
We did
14th.
have some questions about whether we would be moving it
I
from
can
the
do the
7th or
7th
the
too.
14th.
All right.
So then, why don't we move the next one to, we'll do it December 7th. That way we, before the bond vote. We did have it for the 14th, and we thought perhaps that might be a little bit of a, I think if I think having a last chance for people to ask about it made more sense. So Carson and Charles, that would be great if you guys could be there, and we'll
If
get
you
one other
can't
person.
find somebody, I can do it.
Okay.
Otherwise,
You and Carson, to Charles and
Yeah,
Carson.
you're gonna be totally messed up here. All right, so then our
I'll
next,
get a label.
I'm very skinny.
our next
I'll
board
wear a
meeting,
name
excuse me, we're getting close here, people.
tag.
So, our next, December 7th will be our next meet and greet. Our next, the next event within our community besides that would be our, the bond vote, which is Tuesday, December 10th. I can't tell you how to vote, but I would ask you all to please come out and vote. Consider, ask whatever questions. If you have any sort of concerns or issues about the details, please ask. There's, all of us are available and willing to answer whatever we can. And there is, on the website, there is actually an opportunity where you can send in the question that you want, and it will be directed to the appropriate person, whether it's Enrique, whether it's Joe, whether it's Anthony Merlini, building,
Matthew.
depending, and Matthew, depending on what the specific question is. So the information is there. We would beg people to please just look at it, inform yourselves. Our next meeting after that would be the 11th, December 11th, and that's
We meeting on
what's
the
coming
10th?
up. December 10th, we're having, is
To
the bond
certify
vote,
the vote.
to certify the
We'll
vote, but that's,
Yep.
so. Other than that, I wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, safe travels if you're going anywhere. So,
Yes.
can I get a motion to close?
so moved.
All those in favor?
All right.
Happy turkey.
You two are so.